The big thing we want to talk about today, of course, is the Fantastic Four trailer. This has been widely anticipated, and maybe anticipated is not the right word. I've heard just so much negativity about this project. People are really angry about it. People really want Fantastic Four to go back to Marvel.
I just want the acceptable Four.
Folks are not liking that Josh Trank is changing up stuff so much from the source material and all of that. Tim, what did you think of the trailer?
I wasn't aware that the Fantastic Four was in the Half-Life universe. And he kind of had the whole Gordon Freeman look too, with the glasses on him, on the dude and everything, and then they make it an alternate universe, instead of just cosmic rays and whatnot. I don't know. The Fantastic Four to me is just something you can't really take too seriously because there's a giant rock monster.
I'm very much on the fence with this because, and as I always say with trailers, we just don't know much yet to have really a real good conversation about what this is yet. But just, my first impression of it, if they can make me take Fantastic Four seriously on the level of like massive sci-fi epic, I'll be very impressed. I mean, like, that is a cool idea if you can make it work. What I don't want, of course, is a really like self-important film that's like really pretentious about it and is like trying to force the fact that it's serious down my throat and that it's good because it's dark. But if they make a movie that earns its darkness and it's just this like really heavy but like, in a good way, sci-fi epic, I'll be very impressed. I mean, that's a cool idea if you can make it work potentially, but it's also a giant risk because the folks that really love Fantastic Four, obviously that's not what they want. They want something that's lighthearted and early Stan Lee and just a better story than we got the last time it was attempted,
and a much better story the time before that. The Roger Corman Fantastic Four. Have you watched that, by the way? Man, it's so interesting.
I've done a rewind on it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I wanted to say that you might have either. I thought that we'd either talked about it or I heard you talk about it, but
no, I've written an analysis of that. That was a very interesting project.
Well, Corman's stuff in general is just really interesting because he had this reputation for never losing money on any given film. And he said that that's not exactly true. He's lost money on a few, but generally speaking, I want to say he's made money like 80 or 90% of the time. And they don't have to be good movies. I mean, he's a businessman first, and he just happens to go and find new talent a lot. And he happens to be very good at identifying new talent. So,
getting back to the trailer, have you seen Chronicle?
I honestly have not seen Chronicle. No.
Okay, so I liked Chronicle a lot. I know that's a somewhat polarizing movie, and a lot of people are saying this just looks like a Chronicle sequel, but with the Fantastic Four. That's kind of what I sort of expected maybe Josh Trank would make. I hope that it definitely kind of feels like it has that tone. I hope that it's not like a rehash of that story. It certainly doesn't seem like that's exactly what they're doing, given that they pretty much just spelled out all the thematic points in the trailer. I want to talk about just trailers in general for a moment. I appreciate when a trailer can give me a sense of what the thematic crux of a thing is going to be, assuming that I then go into the movie and it's not like that's not all there is to it. You know what I mean? We're like, okay, we summed the whole thing up. There's there's really nothing else underneath. For instance, when the trailer for Winter Soldier did it, I was like, wow, they're kind of telling me what this movie's about. And then I went and saw it, and it still blew me away, and I had no idea where it was going. And so it was kind of nice to. I guess what I'm saying is, it's kind of nice to get like the emotional heart of a project somehow in a trailer without knowing exactly where they're going with it. This felt really spelled out.
It did. Maybe it will surprise us. We'll see.
Yeah. Perhaps it will.
It's hard to say.
It's about progress and the consequences of progress, and that's what you expect with movies about science experiments gone awry. And it treats it like it's like this really important movie about progress. I mean, again, I guess we'll see what it's like. Who is speaking?
I don't know.
I I don't either. Is it Doctor Doom?
It's hard to say.
I guess the problem is that I don't know those actors well enough to be. I'm sure somebody is going to be like, "Oh, I know who it is."
Well, I know exactly who it is based on this analysis of their vocal patterns. You can see that by the way that they pronounce their I in this sentence versus this sentence.
I mean, it seems like it's more likely to be but also you might just recognize the actor's voice.
That's true. I'm going to turn my internet off for a second.
I should have let you just keep going with that.
Enhance!
I think it's more like auto-tune. I think it's more likely to be Doom than anyone because we see Reed Richards there and we get I think he has a bit of a line or something and I don't think it's him. I would be really surprised if their Johnny Storm their Johnny Storm wouldn't sound like that because we know what Michael B. Jordan sounds like and then like it'd be really funny if their thing talked like that. So it's either just a generic narrator or someone we've never met before, or Doctor Doom. I think it's probably Doctor Doom.
You're probably right. Either that, or it's I don't know. Based on the words that were being said, it could be Doctor Doom, or it could be somebody else who's because it wasn't exactly. It wasn't like anything evil or foreboding so much as just like more of like almost like a warning-ish sort of script, right? So, it could be somebody that it wouldn't be anybody as part of the group. It would be somebody who's off to the periphery or the main villain. It'd have to be.
Yeah. It sounded like the opening paragraph of a dystopian novel, really.
I know, right? And so you couldn't use that. You couldn't use a different voice. You couldn't be like human progress. I mean, you couldn't start talking like that. No, it has to be this very, very deep, very somewhat British sort of thing, going on. Because the way the guy was pronouncing certain words, he sounded like, an old British black guy, is what he sounded like, based on the vocal patterns that I heard. I could be completely wrong because it's a voiceover and you don't know. Yeah. But that's just based on the tone and everything else. So.
I'm very interested in the sci-fi epic approach for this. What if it's brilliant? What if it turns out to be brilliant? I mean, yeah. There's all the talk about like Doctor Doom is like a hacker, and that's crazy, and again, people really hating that the origin is different, and they're kind of reinventing the wheel and everything. But forgetting the Fantastic Four, what if it's brilliant? What if it's brilliant and nobody sees it?
I thought the same thing about the Doom movie.
And it might be a complete disaster, and a lot of people, of course, really think that it's going to be. But I mean, like,
I thought the same thing about the Doom movie.
But looking at this trailer, I mean, like they're certainly selling it like it has a lot of confidence and they're sure of it. I don't know. There's no way to know. I guess I'm kind of just spinning my wheels saying, like, can I just see the movie before I have to talk about it?
Yeah, and yet you gleefully walk into the path of needing to talk about it.
Well, I guess I kind of do. Well, we got to fill time. We got an hour show.
No, that's true. That's true. Plus, I know that you were up late, so it happens.
I mean, is this a thing that you're kind of, to use a word you loved, you kind of nonplussed by?
Well, I wouldn't really say that.
No, of course you wouldn't.
But yeah, anyway, so the Fantastic Four, the 2015, the trailer for the teaser that came out, could be good, could be bad, we don't know. But it looks like they changed a lot of stuff, and so the internet is angry.
That was a great recap of that. Why don't we just use that?
You can almost write the internet's reaction to any given trailer of a beloved property in the same way that you'd write a synopsis for a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Just replace Larry David is villainized when with the internet is enraged when. And there you go.
Real quick, the other thing I want to say about this is I was struck by how similar in tone this feels kind of to the X-Men movies. And it being Fox, there's been a lot of talk that they still might cross over. And I don't know that any of that is intentional, but that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I still really want to see Fantastic Four eventually go back to Marvel just so that we can get Galactus and Silver Surfer there, or like come up with some kind of deal where Galactus and Silver Surfer can either be in both things or just go over to Marvel Studios, because I don't even care that much that Fantastic Four isn't there. I mean, I get why people think Reed Richards really should be in that universe, but I just want my Galactus.
This is kind of an aside, but you know how ridiculously sick intellectual property law is, that you can take a property like the Fantastic Four or any cinematic universe or any comic book universe, when you translate it into a different medium, then you have to pick and choose what you want to go with and license just that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I want to license to this story, but I can't use that character because this other studio owns the rights to that character for now. That's stupid. It's so stupid. And you and I both as content creators, just in general, I, in addition to all this, of course, I do music too. So I've got a little bit, a slightly different perspective there, but, it's like, this is why there's such a huge backlash against some of these really arcane intellectual property laws.